So
Yeah, and I mean, I don't even honestly. I was going to say like because I don't even know if they're. I'm sure there are pros and cons for both, but it's not even like this isolated river, or I'm sorry, this isolated lake that is just like getting its water from the rain, and it really doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't, nothing feeds into it. There are numerous, it sounds like, tributaries and other things downstream. Like it is part of something larger. It is
it's
part of
of a larger
network.
ecosystem. It's part of a
Yeah,
huge
and
network.
so
Yeah. So that,
to
that
just
exactly. So you
just
have to
remove it
assess
without any vetting, without any
Yeah, it's
level
crazy.
of
It's insane.
investigation, just seems crazy. But also, it sounds like a really good moment to rethink property development and city planning. You know, I don't know if like you can like Frank Lloyd Wright the whole thing, where it's just like we'll become one with nature and weave things in and out of the elements without disturbing them. But I mean, maybe, you know, creating houses 5 feet apart in a row in cul-de-sacs and like grid things and just decimating the local habitat and putting all lawns up and stuff. Maybe that isn't, you know, how, you know,
There is
going
no
by
maybe about that. It's not the right way.
going by what we said, going by what we said in the beginning of the episode about the Second Amendment. How much longer are we just gonna like do it because we've always done it?
And we haven't always done it. It's
you know what I
a
mean.
manifestation of the 50s,
since
of the
we've done
post-world.
How much longer are we going to do it since we've done it? When it had no consideration for the ecology, it was just how do you cram this many people into this area
and a smaller population at the time, and you know,
the more lots they make out of the property given, the more money they make. So you want to give people just enough lawn so that it's like country living, but you still want to cram them all in. And
well, it's because, like, but again, you know, you're looking at it. The thing is, the modern suburb was created as a means to allow white people to get away from the minorities in the cities and just have to go there to work, but then get to relax on the weekends away from all the undesirables. So I mean, given that, all right, that historical context there, that's a little TLDR. You know, so I'm just saying that it's we know that this is not the right way to do it, and the thing is, we have the internet. We've been in COVID for 2 years. Most people have been working from home, especially people who would have been commuting into a city, white collar workers. That is, you know, essential. That's a whole nother patchwork of issues that need to be worked out there. But in terms of the people who live in the suburbs that commute to the cities, it's not necessary. And we know, and I mean, look, I think that there's a lot of, there's a lot of money to be lost in that because, you know, we have commuter rails that are dependent on people using them. Various public transport is dependent on people actually using them. And you know, it's not the public transportation's fault that it was built into a system that was essentially unsustainable. And we just we never realized it because no one was really looking at it. So that's my point. It's sort of like when you start talking about either people working from home or working more remotely as we embrace the technology that has been in existence since, I don't know, the better part of 20 years. So yeah, as people actually realize that the internet isn't located just in your office and it is something you could get at home as well. You know, it's not just for watching Netflix. You could also do work on it as well. Yeah, I think it's going to change the way that people look at needing a suburb, needing that kind of cramped space, because it's just not necessary. What people need to be pushing in terms of legislation is to get internet infrastructure out into rural areas, which is possible. It's really being stymied by utility companies that have a monopoly on the status quo of things, but if government were to overhaul things and to really start investing in that kind of infrastructure, then we could radicalize the way in which people think they have to live, which includes suburban living, includes urban living, making better use of the land, making more natural investments, people living within the confines of nature and not having to destroy it necessarily, because this country has tons of land that most people just do not live in. For one reason or another, most of it is infrastructure usually, and yeah, I think we could build a better world. It's an intergenerational planning that is necessary there, and as part of that is the ability to respect the rights of nature, the indigenous population, of creatures that dot the landscape, and your rivers and tributaries, and giving them the utmost respect that they deserve, because they make this country the way they make this country great. That's what we should do. If our flag, we should make a river. The flag should just be just a river and land.
He's back on the flag wagon, folks. He's re-embraced the flag. It didn't take much. He's back on board.
It should be Yellowstone, but it's given back to the native peoples.
The states can have their flags as long as they're waterways.
That's right. As long as it's representing something, letting us know what's really up. But yeah,
the things most flags have on them. But
oh yeah, because stars and stripes. That's really that tells you a lot.
Flags generally
tells you a lot.
Incorporate some form of their natural environment into their flags. I think. Maybe. Bold statement. Someone.
Yeah, real bold statement.
I'm just thinking if California has a bear, right? I mean, it's like a thing.
Yeah. They got a bear. So that's part of nature. I mean, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to say that, we respect our nature. We try to protect it. That's what California is all about.
Curious what the bear protections are in California, but yeah.